Alright guys, welcome back to some more MX versus ATV All Out. Today we have 2020 Ironman. But before we check out 2020, I do want to take a look at 2018 and 2019. Now this is 2018 and it's my favorite version of Ironman. It had, in my opinion, it had the best layout at the time, and overall I feel like it looks as good or better than any other version we got. Now, I say this every video, but the time of day should be pretty similar at all three versions of the track. They might be a tiny bit different, but for the most part, they all should be the same. This is the part that is different, and this version, 2018, did come out first with the 2019 DLC. And then if you remember, in the fall, I believe, they came out with the 2019 version. And it was good too, and I'm happy they gave us the correct version of the track. But when I think of Ironman, this is the version of the track that comes to mind. This is just what I think of when I think of Ironman, this version of the track. This is all pretty much the same. They didn't change this in 2019 or 2020. But the part where you have the big step-up triple, that is changed. I actually feel like the track is shorter than it was in 2018. That might not be the case. I usually play these tracks in free ride. I don't normally ride them or race them in an actual race, so I'm not sure. It just feels that way, but it might not be the case. And getting rid of that big step up triple, that does suck because you're using the elevation. So for me at least, that is a bummer because I did enjoy it and that part of the track. Here is 2019. This, you can see we already were different. I actually feel like this version of Ironman is kind of a downgrade. It feels as if the overall quality of the track is kind of muted. It just feels not as vibrant as it did in 2018. Maybe that's just me, but you know, after seeing 2018 and then cutting straight to 2019, it just feels downplayed from 2018. Now that's not saying they didn't do a good job on the track. I feel like they represent Ironman very good in this version. I don't know. It feels so dull, you know, as far as color goes. And I'm pretty sure the time of day is about the same. It should be about midday, so about 12 noon-ish. I don't know. Just the layout, I'm not as big of a fan of, and it just isn't as pretty, I guess is the best way to say it, as 2018 was. It just doesn't feel like it got the same love 2018 had. And I mean, I feel like everything should have been the same minus the layout. I didn't feel like that downplaying the coloring, the lighting, muting the colors, I guess, would have been a thing. But it does feel like it. And then we go a bit farther on this track because we throw a ginormous whip off of that. First, a big step-up triple. I don't know if it's as big as the whip we threw on 2018. That whip was so big, the game was telling us we did a backflip. But this part of the track is my favorite part. So again, it sucks that they got rid of the second big triple heading up the hill at the bottom of the corner after the step down table. And then we switch over to 2020. This is the new version of the track, and it's the same. If you played 2019, you played 2020. Now, we don't know. Maybe they will go in and add some stuff to it in a free patch or update to the game later, similar to what they did at Bud's Creek and Unadilla. But as far as right now, the track is identical. It's the same. Nothing has changed. If anything changed, it's so minor, I can't tell. The lighting, the colors on the track are a bit different, but the track, the layout, the ruts, everything seems to be the same as 2019. So it's a bummer that it appears the track is going to release the same as it was in 2019. But again, maybe they'll patch it later on and change it a bit, similar to Budds Creek, how that track was. Because when I played Budds Creek, it was the same. And then after I did my video, they went back in and did a bit of reworking on the track. The layout is the same, and they can't change that. I get it, but you know, reworking some corners would be cool. Just changing it up a tiny bit so it doesn't feel like it's the exact same track. Hopefully that happens, but for right now, no, it's the same. 2019, 2018, or 2019, 2020, the same track. Pretty much. Minor lighting, color adjustments, but this time of day might be a bit more in the evening, but it's pretty similar. The one difference I do see is it feels as if the shadows, and I have said this before, it feels like the shadows play a bigger role on the track. It just feels harder to get through some of the corners to see the ruts with the shadows, which is cool. And, you know, but other than that, it's the same. What I wish, and I said I'll say this every video, it would be cool to have, similar to what they did with this track, we have 2020 here, 2019, 2020, and then we had 2018, an older version of the track. I wish they would do that with some of the other tracks that didn't change at all. You know, so you get the official track for the current season, even if it's the same as it was the year before, but then give us a different version of the same track or different tracks. But I imagine it probably would be difficult since it's an official AMA Pro Motocross DLC of the current season to give us different tracks. Maybe there's some kind of licensing in that, so maybe that would be difficult, but you could give us an older version of the current track. So it's the same track, it's just a different year when it had a different layout. And then you're not getting the same exact thing from the year before. That's the big problem that I see, is the first half is new tracks. The half of the season we didn't get last year, but the second half of the season is pretty much the same. Really, the only track that had a ton of changes to it was Loretta Lynn's. That track had the most changes to it, and I feel like it was a pretty big improvement over 2019. Every other track was pretty much the same. Here we have some trails. This is 2020, and then I show you a 2018 version of the same trails. The trails are the same. As far as I can tell, they have been the same since 2018. So 2018, 2019, and 2020, all the trails are the same. Nothing's changed except for some of the lighting, just how vibrant the colors are. That's pretty much the only difference. So it's kind of a bummer. Ironman, from what I understand, has a bunch of trails for miles and miles and miles. So it'd be pretty cool if maybe these trails were a bit different from the year before, because they don't have the space on the map to make that many trails. So I'm assuming that these are kind of made up. I mean, even if Ironman has this many trails, I'm assuming that these are fake, made up. You know, they're not actually exactly like this. They're, you know, Ironman has a bunch of trails, but I'm assuming that they're a bit different than how they run here in the game. So maybe they could have changed up some of the free ride, added some stuff, changed the trails a bit. You know, just small stuff like that would have been nice. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very thankful for this DLC. It's amazing. I just wish, and I assume that some of you guys might feel the same, that if you bought 2019, you don't want the same exact thing in 2020. So this is 2018 trails here. You can tell, I mean, you can clearly see the difference between 2018 and 2020. The trails are the same, but 2020 feels more muted, and 2019 even more so. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you okay with it? I mean, what would be your suggestion for combating the paying for the same thing twice and getting the exact same track? having some differences to make it feel not exactly the same. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.